Hey guys, it's your boy, the Golden Crypto, and I'm back here with another video. Just keep in mind that everything I say is not financial advice, but as always, it might just be life-changing advice. You never know, guys. Um, so just again, back on our favorite topic, HBAR. I mean, we've not had much movement since the last video, really, but it's still quite sideways moving in the market. But I think it's quite an interesting time to release another video. Now we've had all of the updates with the Supreme Court ruling on Trump's tariffs, and also figured a good time to sort of increase my packages on Reuters. So if those of you who don't know, Reuters is just it's kind of similar to Bloomberg, not quite the same, but it's just a way in which traders, or a platform that traders use. So this is Reuters that I have open, by the way, but it's a tool that traders can use to get sort of market insight quite early on and see what's happening sort of real time in markets. It's namely used for commodities, but there is some lesser used crypto packages, which is one of the ones that I have open here. But I'll show you one of the features I like using. And these are sort of, I use this for work. I mean, those that don't know or new subscribers around here, so I work in an investment bank. So I'm the head of finance risk. And one of the aims of this channel really is I try and do everything firstly, everything I do in the video is in one take. So it's not always going to be the most polished or refined, but you're always going to get a very honest opinion. There might be moments where there's little pauses or ums and ahs, but that's just, hey, that's just authenticity, right? Like, I'm just saying what I think, and not trying to say what I think you want to hear. And also, it's going to be quite realistic advice. So I've been in the crypto space for 15 plus years. Those of you that sort of watch previous videos, I used to mine Bitcoin using my old sort of Pentium 4 PC way back in the day. So it was, I've always been interested in the space. It's been a very interesting journey watching it, the ups, the downs. I've not always got it right. I've got it wrong a lot more times actually than I've got it right. I've timed the market terribly at times, and I've learned from these mistakes. And these are where I feel now in a position where I can comfortably give advice because I've learned it. I've lost six figures. I've made six figures. It's all just been a journey for me. And to be honest with you, in I believe in HBAR long term, but in December 2024, January 2024, we all kind of thought we were going to continue on the upside journey. You can see here, we didn't quite realize that this was our all-time, almost all-time high, and that we weren't going to exceed this level. We all thought we're going to go up and up and up, HBAR maybe to $1 to $5, and what ended up happening, we had a lot of politics events going on, especially in the US, with what's happening in the Middle East, and we had, of course, with Russia, Ukraine, we had everything. So what we ended up doing, we ended up completely plummeting from about 36 cents in Jan 25, and we kind of hit a local bottom down to about 14 cents. So then we had a little upside again in July 25. But what I'm trying to stress is more, if you look at it from an all-time high, which is quite rare. Most coins didn't pump as hard, I would say, in the debt Jan 25 region, apart from Bitcoin. I'm talking about altcoins. But if you look where we were, so people were buying in DEC and Jan 25 to where we are now, about 9-10 cents region. I mean, from that alone, visually, I hope we can all see sort of what a great buying opportunity HBAR is. But it's more, the thing with HBAR is it's not a meme coin, right? Like, there is fundamentals that have been built on it. A lot of banks are kind of starting to shift their regulatory kind of frameworks around a lot of blockchain technologies. And as we discussed, HBAR, similar to XRP, ADA, is ISO 20022 compliant, meaning it's really compatible with the sort of Swift network that a lot of these large financial institutions already use. So it's a very exciting coin, in fact, and there's a lot of long-term upside. Keyword being long-term upside, right? You're of course going to have short-term price appreciations, but for me, I think have a load of HBAR, have it in an offline wallet somewhere. Think of it as a digital gold, and just forget about it for a year. If you're someone who's trying to plan for your future, or if you're a short-term trader, I think in a year's time you'll be pretty comfortable if you were to sell your bags. But one of the indicators that I think that's quite good on Reuters is if we have a look at the RSI, so that's your relative strength index. So what this is, I mean, if I drag this over, maybe we can run through. So it's basically a technical indicator, and it's used in some momentum trading. That means where prices are impacted by bid ask or buy sell, like market volumes, how much is actually being traded, how many lots are being traded, and how that kind of impacts the magnitude of volatility of an underlying security. So anything above 70 means that we are in a oversold region, and anything below 30 means that we are in a overbought region. So what does it mean in layman's terms? I mean, this equation, it's really not that complicated. It's quite a nice indicator. And if you want to see it for free, you don't need to, right now I think I pay about 5 to 6K, or my company pays for my Reuters account. But you can see this for free if you go on something like TradingView and you want to see the RSI. But what does it mean? So it's saying, okay, if you're in a period of oversold, so below 30, you can see the dip here. This means that the RSI indicator is relatively low. And if you were to cross this 30 RSI region, you can expect that the market has almost, in a sense, overreacted. They've oversold a lot more than what has been effectively priced in, or in terms of what market sentiment is very, very bearish, but it's caused a sort of domino effect. Maybe Trump's released another tariff and people are panic selling because they think everything's going to go down. But it means relatively you should expect a massive uptick to the upside. And similarly, if you overbought, hype and market sentiment, maybe a big influencer or Elon Musk tweets about HBAR, let's say, and it goes into the massive overbought region where people are buying it, and it's not really based on fundamentals or anything that HBAR is doing. It's more just how the market's reacting to kind of media frenzy. So that's where in this region it's quite dangerous to be buying, because you expect the position to short. You would want to be shorting it because you expect it to suddenly drop. So that's what that means here. So if we look where we are with HBAR, so example here, perfect one, right? On the 5th of February 2026, where were we? We were about here, so we're about 9 cents. And we were in the oversold region, right? So we expect a little bit upside. So why don't we let's do a 3-month window. So 5th of Jan, around about here. So we can see if you were a day trader or just trading a weekly trader, for example, you can see how this indicator is quite important. So you can see here straight away, you can flash in RSI of below 30. So we would naturally all go long, so we know the price is going to tick back up. When within the next day, it moved up, right, from 7-8 cents to 9 cents, which doesn't sound a lot, but if you're leverage trading or you're trading in big lots or big volumes, then you can make some serious sort of returns on as a day or weekly trader. I mean, we're long-term hodlers right here, and I like to think so anyway. So it doesn't really matter to us, but it's a good view into the market of what the market thinks. I mean, right now we're pretty average. We're sideways moving, neither really overbought, oversold. Market doesn't really know what's going on. A lot of it is to do with the man in the the big White House, right, like Mr. Trump. So I mean, I'm sure we've all been following what's happening with the US Supreme Court rulings on Monday against his sort of sweeping tariffs. And he's now kind of hit back, and his rebuttal is, look, if I can't put on my tariffs and are being voted against, I'm going to uplift the levy on, I believe, on these sort of energy tariffs, or I need to look a little bit more into it. But he's essentially found a loophole in which to still impose these tariffs, but guised under a different sort of package. I think it's under world energy tariffs or levies or something along those lines, where, so, I mean, the end result here is, yes, his big, wonderful bill of all those kind of plus 10%, plus 20%, plus 100% for China, I think at one point, tariffs have been overruled, but he's still finding something else where he can tax them and uplift them on countries. So it's causing a lot of people to move onto sort of risk off assets. So you don't really want to be invest in as a hedge fund or investment bank, etc. right now into things that are quite known as risky. You want to be transitioning away from US dollars and away from crypto and into things like like gold or commodities, silver, platinum, copper, etc., etc. So you can see here, like I mean, Monday has a renewed tariff uncertainty. New 15% duty was struck down. So he's now caused once again the US, the Nasdaq, and the other financial institutions to drop with the uncertainty going on. And we can see here what I mentioned. No haven bid for BTC amidst heightened US tariff angst. So what it means is haven bids are essentially saying, do you view Bitcoin, and in this case we can HBAR and Bitcoin tied as one, right? The crypto market. Do you view them as a haven? So think of it like a safe haven. So if something is a haven bid or a safe haven, you would consider that a risk-off asset. So a very good way to diversify in times of uncertainty and volatility. The issue is Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies are no longer that. I mean, they're always very volatile and very risky assets, but they used to be a place where when there was uncertainty in the US dollars, it was a decentralized, I mean, that's where they stemmed from, a decentralized means in which to diversify your kind of portfolios away from the US dollar, away from any kind of country's currency or anything invested in their currency. So it's the landscape's really changed now. We've had big institutions invest in a lot of ETFs, and there is a lot more centralization actually amidst crypto. So in general, it's not as decentralized as it used to be. You know, you make a trade, you make profit. HMRC in the UK can see what you've made straight away. In the US, I'm sure your IRS can see, for tax reasons, what you've made. And you can kind of see it's really starting to become quite a centralized system. So that's for us. I mean, look, it's not necessarily a bad thing if you're in crypto to make money, because with centralization comes things like HBAR being adopted by big institutions. They can be, of course, the ETFs suck up a lot of supply, and they are hitting all-time highs in terms of the trade volumes that are going in, especially, and HBAR and XRP are like, I think Canary is one of the biggest ETFs out there. But it's the kind of takeaway from this is, yes, a lot of institutions are dabbling in cryptocurrency, and really a lot of this centralization of these coins by the US government, by other countries, by the UAE, etc., is making it more accessible into kind of retail money that's never been sort of involved in a lot of these currencies in their lifetime. So, I mean, you can see here, even if we would go back to our sort of 41-cent region where we are now, it's only a 4x. And you look at some of the inflows that are going into these HBAR ETFs, and you look at some of the future kind of utilization and concepts that big institutions can use since it's ISO 20022 compliant. And you really start to then make your own mind up, but you can really start to see the future narratives of things like HBAR and the scalability of this coin. So, I mean, I'll leave it there for now, but what I just want you to take away from this video is I don't want you to think short term. I know it's sort of easy to be like, if we just go back to 40 cents, or if HBAR goes to $1 within the next month or 2 months, I can sell and make a really quick buck. But if you're willing to hold long term, put 10,000, 100,000 units into a cold storage wallet, wait a year or two, wait until we start having those blow off tops on Bitcoin and altcoins are pulled up to rally alongside, and that's when you're gonna seriously see the sort of 10x to 15x to 20x that HBAR has as a kind of short to long term potential hold. So, hey, I mean, as always, like you make your own mind up about what you want to invest in, what you want to diversify in. Crypto should only ever form part of your diversified portfolio. There's always worth in having things like gold, silver, even sort of treasury bonds, I'd say, and property. But cryptos is just a means to fast track yourself to be able to diversify into a lot of those assets in the next coming few years and beat inflation. So it's been your boy, the Golden Crypto. I hope you guys have a brilliant week, and I will speak to you again later in the week.